Hey, and welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and this is my review of The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang, the third and final in her Kiss Quotient trilogy. So 2 years ago, I read her first two books, The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test, and I loved both of them. Actually, I think they were the first two romances I ever read in my life. She was pretty much my introduction to romance, and I just really liked the books a lot, and ever since I read both of those, I've been really excited about her third and final book in the trilogy, which is The Heart Principle. It was supposed to come out last year originally, but it got delayed to this year. But despite that delay, my excitement remained just as strong as before. So I was really excited when it became a Book of the Month pick. The first two books I also got through Book of the Month, so I like that my books will match. And it also meant that I got to read this book a little bit before it was supposed to come out. It was actually published on August 31st, but because I got it through Book of the Month, it came a few weeks earlier, so I was able to start it right towards the beginning of August, which was awesome. So in case you don't know, the first two books in the series, both of them are romances that involve at least one character who is autistic, or on the autism spectrum. And this is actually something that is very personal to the author because in the course of researching for the first book, she discovered that she herself is autistic. So on the one hand, I appreciate seeing this kind of diversity in literature overall and especially in romance. So while the first two books were pretty light and fun, they both had, some degree of deeper issues and heavier themes that they went through, but it remained pretty light throughout. With The Heart Principle, I think it goes a lot heavier with the difficult themes. It's definitely less light and fun than the first two books, but actually, in my opinion, that actually made this a much better and stronger book. I'll say it up front now, this is my favorite book of the trilogy by far. I think Helen Hoang is getting better with each book, and I'm excited to keep reading everything she puts out in the future. So with Heart Principle, it follows Anna's son, who is a violinist. She plays in the San Francisco Symphony, and about 6 months prior to when the book begins, she went viral and had a big video on YouTube, and it ended up getting her a record deal, and she has this musical piece that she's been working on that she's going to record for her album. But she's kind of gotten stuck in this loop where she just can't perfect this song, and she keeps starting it, and she gets to a certain spot, it's not perfect, so she starts over, and she's kind of like stuck in this loop of always restarting this song. I think this actually kind of is similar to what the author was doing. She said that she rewrote the first chapter over 100 times. So I kind of saw that reflected in how this book begins with Anna starting and restarting this song, trying to get it perfect before moving forward. So early on, we see that she's going to therapy, and it starts to become clear that she might be autistic or on the autism spectrum, but she hasn't been diagnosed up to this point. And it's not something that people in her family, especially her sister, seem to really believe is true about her. Meanwhile, she's also going through an issue with her long-term boyfriend. He wants to open up the relationship, see other people, before he makes sure that she really is the one that he wants to marry. So while her boyfriend is seeing other people, she decides that she should also see some other people and see if she's also sure that he's the one. So she ends up meeting Quan. So if you read the first two books, Quan was one of the most charming and charismatic characters from the first two books. He's the older brother of Kai and the cousin slash best friend slash business partner of Michael. So we already know who Quan is. But in The Heart Principle, Quan doesn't have quite as much swagger as he did before. He's recently overcome an illness, cancer, and it's kind of left him feeling less confident in himself. He's kind of in a more sensitive place, and he hasn't dated anyone or been with any women in a couple of years now. So Anna and Quan, they meet, and they end up forming a really tender and gentle relationship with each other. It's supposed to start off as just a one-night stand, but they keep kind of failing at that, and so they keep trying to meet up again to try again with a one-night stand, but it keeps not working out for them. But instead, it allows them the chance to get to know each other, have conversations with each other, understand each other, and kind of help each other heal and overcome their fears, but also work through the traumas that they have. It's really wholesome seeing how they help each other out and really connect with each other on a deeper level. Then, about halfway through the book, a big event happens and Anna suddenly has yet another burden to carry on her shoulders, involving a family member who needs to be taken care of for an extended period of time. So this book kind of moves into another direction that involves like the stress of being a caregiver, having caregiver burnout, having autistic burnout, grieving death, and eventually it also dives into other like mental health issues, including suicidal ideation. And this book gets really deep, and it goes into a very difficult and dark place. And we see how little support Anna has from her own family. It's hard to see how uncaring her family is towards her. They almost never give her any gratitude or encouragement or thanks or anything. And when she tries to speak up and say that she's not doing well herself and that she might need a break, they attack her as being selfish and not caring about this family member. And it's just really hard to see how not understanding her family is. But that makes her relationship with Kwan all the more important and valuable, because in contrast to her family, he always cares for her. He listens to her and believes her when she says that she needs help or that she needs a break. And so it really helps put her relationship with Kwan into perspective, especially in contrast to her original boyfriend, Julian, who he likes her because she goes along with what he wants, basically. So that's not love. That's just liking someone because they do what you want them to do. So this book is amazing. I probably gave away too much already, but I just thought this book was really incredible with the depth and the nuance and the care that went into it. I know that a lot of the book is very personal to the author. She actually said in the author's note at the end that it's kind of half novel, half memoir, because a lot of the themes in here are things that she went through. But I just thought this book was beautifully done. It was, I don't know, I think it's her best book yet, and I think it's a book that everyone should read. You don't need to have read the first two books in this trilogy. They're more like companion pieces to each other. So it's okay to dive right in with this one. But of course, I think you should read the whole trilogy because I loved all three books. But I think The Heart Principle was a beautiful, perfectly done book. So I give it 5 stars. And that wraps up my review. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to get all of my latest videos. You can also find the links to read my full written review on my blog and on Goodreads in the description below. You'll also find the links for all my social channels. I'm currently on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'll be publishing reviews for all the books I read, so at least once or twice a week you'll see new videos on my channel. So keep checking back for more, and I hope to see you there.